Okay, so good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Wellness Talks, brought to you by Alba Wellness Valley in association with World Wellness Weekend. My name is Hilton Lipkin. I am the General Manager of Alba Wellness Valley behind me in central Vietnam. And today we have a very special guest coming to us all the way from Singapore, actually not that far away, depending where you are in the world. If you're in America, then Singapore is very far away. But from Vietnam, it's not that far away. Tricia has a very interesting, how should I say, not a discipline. How would you say, Tricia? It's not medical. How would you explain it to us? Well, I'll let Tricia explain exactly. So with no further ado, Tricia, welcome to the show. Thank you very much for being with us. Please, if you can introduce yourself, and then after that, you can explain a little bit more about everything. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Hyton, for invitations. And I'm so grateful to be in this wellness talk. And of course, I'm very grateful to know people like Hilton actually can help me to actually give me this opportunity to explain to people that what this therapy is. And
Therapy. Thank you.
yes, therapy.
The word I
Yeah.
was looking for.
Yes. So before I start, let me explain to you on who I am and where I come from. Yeah, so my name is Tricia and my surname is T. And I came from Malaysia. So I grown up in Malaysia and I came to Singapore not long ago. And so from after growing in Singapore, after staying in Singapore for about 10 years, and I actually became a Singaporean and now I'm residing in Singapore. Yeah, so this is something that along the journey that while finding out more about the therapy, I actually became I'm aware about my own health conditions, and throughout my journey I wanted to find out more about how to make myself more active aging, as in helping myself to deal with my own knee problem, and which is like every 5 years I have this knee swelling issues. I go and see doctor and the doctor cannot diagnose what is it about. Yeah, so I came about this therapy because my friend introduced this to me. He asked me, are you interested to find out something very interesting that they have found out in Hong Kong, where this group of Japanese went to Hong Kong, did a trade show and wanted to show people what this therapy is. And they found out that that therapy, that trade show was about beauty. This is how to improve your face, your anti-aging. How do you deal with anti-aging using a natural healing? So they came back and tell me they're so excited about it. And they went all the way to Japan to find out what this therapy is. And then they brought back to this group of Japanese to Malaysia to actually teach class, where I was invited to understand about what this therapy is. And to me, I'm very interested to find out how to deal with my own knee issues. I went there with the open mind. I wanted to find out how to deal with my own knee issue, because I like to travel. I like to go everywhere to travel, and I don't like to rely on other people. I want to be independent.
Sure.
I want to help to deal with my own health issue. So I was excited to find out more about it, and I went to the therapy class, and it was really a challenge for me. Why is it so challenge? Because I came from accountant background. I was a trained accountant for more than 20 years, and I went there to learn about figure, meaning
A
how to
numbers
deal.
lady.
Yes, numbers. So it's two. One figure is about accounting. You look in figures. The other figure is really about body. How do you look? How to deal with the body? So I was so lost during the therapy class, but I still passed the diploma at the time, and I know, okay, this therapy seems to be interesting, and I know that this is a natural healing, and how we can actually help ourselves with a natural healing in our body and deals with our body. I got very interested about it, and I did it for myself, and look at how this can actually help myself. And I find that there is actually a lot of things happening in my body. And after that, after I learned about this therapy, and I did it for my own knee because I have knee issue, and I do not need to go and see doctor the next 5 years. The
Wow.
interval of 5 years, I go to see doctor, and I can't remember the last 5 years I went to see doctor for these same issues. But
Wow.
after I learned about this therapy, I actually do not need to go and see doctor regarding my knee issues. Yeah, so I felt so like it is very, very encouraging for me. And what happened is because I knew that when I do this therapy for myself, I felt the warmth, I felt whatever effect that the teacher was teaching me. I felt it, and I felt also very curious, and I went to follow this group of people to Japan. To be more exact, it's actually Nagoya, Japan. I went there to find out what is this therapy about, what is the institute, and I was so curious. I wanted to find out, and I went there. I really saw with my own eyes a lot of medical practitioners actually went to the stage and show us at how did that help their client, their patients, and how did they help them using this therapy to help them in their wellness or even in the recovery state. And this therapy, the name, I haven't actually reviewed the name, is called SeiFu. So if you can see, it's called SeiFu.
Yeah,
So
we can see it
SeiFu,
behind you.
yeah, so SeiFu therapy is actually something that is promoted our blood circulations. Is actually helping our body to actually get well using a better blood circulations. And this is something that it even go into beyond my imagination that it could help something that I never thought this could help.
So before we go into detail of exactly what it is, because it's fascinating, and as somebody who comes from the physiological education, when you were explaining this to me, to me it was a no-brainer. It was so obvious, but it's not that popular. But so to understand, you basically were looking for alternatives to ailments that you had. And because you met a friend who said, try this and check this out, and you have obviously a very inquisitive mind, you went very further deep into this. But I think the important part is you learn something that you saw the results personally on yourself. And I think that that's very important, because often we learn things, we read things, we study things, but they don't specifically help us. They can and supposed to. But in your case, the fact that it was so positive and helped your problem that you were actually trying to fix, that really gave you the will and the energy to continue. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you are the proof. You are living proof. So you practice what you preach.
Yeah. So that's why I really believe in this therapy.
I'm sure.
Yeah. So that's why it brings a lot of positive kind of encouragement to me, where I felt that this is something that so simple to me, because I came from accountant background. And
So no more accountants.
Yeah, no more doing accounting. So I came from accountant, and to deal with this is actually 180-degree change. So if an accountant with that background can do this, actually almost anyone can do this. So I know that this therapy can actually be done so long as you have the intention, you have the mind that it's kind of mindfulness that in ourselves, that I want to help myself, that help us to actually deepen our own healing. So therefore, I really feel that this is so encouraging, and I wanted to know more about it. Therefore, I went to Japan to find out more about it. So I think
so now that you've really built it up, you need to tell us what it is.
Yes, I'm so excited, you see. Okay. So this therapy indeed started in Japan, and to be more exact, in Nagoya, Japan. So the guy that who started this, indeed, he is a Chinese. His name is Xu Jiang, But he reside in Japan for many, many years, and he speak very fluent Japanese language. So I think many of us went to Japan, and Japan, they are very self-country culture. They support their own brand, they support their own thing that created in that country itself. And the fact that this Chinese, he reside there for so long, and the person that he influenced was actually Japanese. There's no Chinese over there to receive this, but indeed a whole group, every one of them are all Japanese. Doctors, surgeons, nurses, every one of them are Japanese who actually believe in what he said, what he do, and actually being advocating what this therapy is. And when I went there to this conference, which is a graduating conference where every of the therapists from all over Japan actually went there on stage to receive the certificates. And the medical practitioner, indeed, they went up to share about how they could actually help people in their practice in terms of helping them to recover faster. Of course, in our life, indeed, if we are actually facing some medical issue, definitely we may need to see doctor, or somehow if we can deal with it before that, of course, it's good. But somehow when we step into become a more serious kind of situation, we need to actually see doctor. But how this therapy can also complement to the healing process, helping the person to be a better in terms of healing and self-healing, and also being motivating in terms of the healing process. So that really encouraged me a lot. And yes, and when I see that one of the testimony was talking about bed sore. Bed sore to me, it actually attached to me very much, is because bed sore was the condition of my late father. My late father passed away because of bed sore. He went through Parkinson, a late stage Parkinson, but he passed on is because of bed sore. And the bed sore condition that my late father had was, indeed, I can't even see his flesh at the hip there. I felt that it's so painful. It's so painful for a person to pass on that way. It's really passed on with a lot of pain. And when I saw that person, the medical practitioner, stood up and said that he could help the patient with bed sore condition recovered from a very deep and dark patch, actually recovered and could actually stand up and walk. That encouraged me a lot. I really had a goosebump because that reminds me a lot about late father. I felt that it's so painful. I could feel the pain, and I see that this could actually help people with the bed sore. I really feel that if my parents, my father was around, I wanted him to do this. I wanted to heal him. I wanted to heal him with my two hands. And I regretted so much after my late father passed on, because the sadness in me just couldn't actually get over. I couldn't get over the sadness. I was living in grief because it wasn't like, I mean, it's something that I don't have any purpose in my life, and I see that I couldn't even help my own father. So I felt sad that I didn't do well as a youngest child of my late father, and I'm the person that who gotten the most from my family. I having the highest educations, and I gotten what I want, but I just didn't able to give back to my own father. So when I see that, and I know how much pain was I, and how long the grief was when I dealing with the grief and didn't able to do much, and I know how painful it is a person when we see our loved ones suffer and we didn't able to do anything. So at that point in time, I said, hey, I want to do this for people that who are suffering in this. At least I need to get to the caregiver, to let the caregiver knows this therapy is so powerful, and this can help them at least to know that this therapy can help them to relieve some pain or some issue. And to me, I was, as you know, I am an accountant, and I was an accountant. I was an accountant. So I didn't know much about science. I didn't know much of biology. Yeah, I went through science stream. I didn't practice that for so long, but I knew about cell. So if this therapy can help on recovery from bed sore, means to say that it can actually help on cells recovery. When the cells recover, it's a very powerful thing. So when we have certain ailment, it's because the cell over there is not well. So if this therapy can help on cell recovery, that means that this therapy does a lot of work. This therapy is very powerful and amazing. It can actually help people in many different kind of challenges that the person is dealing with. So I have those kind of like goosebumps, and I wanted to, yes, I want many people to know about it. And I really felt that this is a gift. This is a gift I have gotten for myself to help myself to get away from the knee pain, from the swelling that I had every 5 years. And I want many people to know that, hey, that is something that very simple and very simple to adopt, very easy to learn. And why not just do this? Why not learn about something simple to help ourselves and also help our loved one? To the very minimum, we know that that is this second chance. Second chance that which is very valuable, at least to know that there's something that we can do differently.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've built it up so much now. We believe you. Tell us what it is.
Okay, so this therapy is a very simple therapy. Indeed, is actually natural healing, like what I explained. It's just using two hands. Imagine the most powerful thing is with ourselves, which is only two hands. We're just using two hands to do the therapy. We're not using any equipment. So this therapy is like just what you see in the picture behind. We are just doing a lifting. Just doing a lifting, helping us to lift a bit, and after that, there is a space in between. Yes, something like what you are doing, and allowing the energy to flow through, and the cell underneath will have the space and allow the cells to move. So coming from science point of view, coming for cell movement. So our cell needs to move. If our cell don't move, it's something like is stagnant, and cell will actually eventually die. So doing that therapy itself is helping the cell to move, allowing the space to let the cell to move. So if you relate back to what about 2 years ago when we have COVID, when we start to have COVID, everybody, all the country, everyone in the world doesn't know what to do. And everyone has to lock down. Everyone has to be staying in their own house. So that is what happened. If all of us are staying stagnant, then what happened? We don't feel happy. Likewise, the cell doesn't feel happy if it's stagnant, it's not moving. So if we're talking about the cell needs to move. So how we can actually help our cell to move is by doing the therapy on the skin and let the cell to move, let the space, increase the space level and let the cell to move. Yeah, so that is in the point of letting the cell to actually generate the energy. And on top of that, what happens when we do this movement? When we do this movement, is actually a rhythmic movement. So doing a rhythmic movement is something like sitting on, our brain will generate some movement kind of some senses of movement, something like brainwave movement. So if we know about brainwave actually has a different brainwave in our brain. So doing this actually generate the movement. Generating the movement, creating a happy hormone in our body. So it's something that when you do, when our body is actually having sitting on the swing. I'm sure every one of us actually sit on the swing before, when during our childhood time, so we see on the swing where we're just doing a swing. So those kind of movement is something that doing on therapy on the person's body by doing a lifting kind of movement can create that kind of feeling in our brain. So therefore, this therapy indeed not only helping the cell, not only helping the physical, is actually helping the brainwave at the same time. Wow. So if we're doing something one time and we actually help on many multiple different kind of area, so it's something that it saves a lot of hassle. So that's why people that who are having depression, people who are having some issue about very stressful, this therapy is actually very effective, because by doing this actually, it generate kind of energy, it generate movement. Just like for example, if I'm doing on my clothes itself, and when I actually lift this, the other parts of the cloth indeed actually has the movement as well. So every parts of our body are interconnected. And when we do one, we trigger, and we lift one side, it actually can trigger. So compared to if we are doing otherwise, it may not trigger because it is only that part area. But if we do something that we can just doing a lifting, it actually trigger the whole connected tissue.
So to understand in a simple way, if I may, one, by lifting the skin or pinching the skin, we're allowing an increase of energy flow under the skin, which can remain constricted, maybe still flowing, but constricted. So by touching these specific trigger points around the body, we're lifting and allowing this flow of energy around the body, which is also a mental, as you said, brain wave, and giving us a sense of well-being, happiness, and healing as well. And
Yes.
and as you said, you are the proof. So it does work. So it's
Yes.
very interesting. Wow. Yes. I remember
Yes.
now you explained it to us.
Yes, it does work, and especially when you know about fascia. Fascia is a connective
Fascia.
tissue between our skin and our organ.
Correct.
So when you're doing that movement, indeed, we literally is actually moving some of the organ, especially we are doing it on the vital organ. This can actually help the vital organ to move as well.
Okay.
So if we believe in exercise, and why is exercise so important, and we believe in movement, so likewise, this is one of the way to help us to actually move our vital organ to make sure that it generate energy along the area.
So I know you're very passionate, and it's almost 20 minutes and we're in, and you've been explaining to us. No problem. I think we understand really well the idea. So today, do you have clients, patients? Do you do therapies? Is it available in different places? Is it only you and the people in Japan? And where is it available?
Okay, so today I do therapy for people that people with condition, and also people who are looking out to help their own well-being in a holistic way. So people who are with condition could be people who are having like Parkinson, cancer patients, and this is one group of people. And I do also for people that who are in the final moment situations. Yeah, so those are part that I do. And another part is also I do for people that who are looking out for the for this alternative to medicine healing. They want themselves to actually having a better well-being. They know that dealing with medication is something that they want to avoid. They want themselves to using a holistic way to help. So
Okay.
these are the people that I'm helping in terms of doing the therapy. And also I teach people how to do it themselves. I teach people physically and also online. So I teach people how to do this like step by step. I transform the learning process into step by step, so that people can acquire this and do it themselves.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So
And you also mentioned to me that you're going to be an in-house visiting practitioner in Qatar, I think it was.
yes, I'm going to be in Qatar somewhere in July, and yeah, so
At
Zula,
Zula,
Zula of Qatar. So
which is, sorry, just for our listeners, so Shiva Soms, which is a very famous wellness destination in Thailand, have now opened up a new center resort in Qatar, Zula, and Tricia will be going there as a visiting practitioner for this therapy, for Fushi.
Yes, for SeiFu, I'm going there for SeiFu therapy.
SeiFu.
Yeah, so when I do SeiFu therapy, also it will include other. I will also include it with other therapy, for example, sound healing, and also and also essential oil. So all this together is really my masterpiece. That
So you've really gone a long way away from accounting.
yeah.
You've
So
developed all the well-being and mindfulness and holistic therapies as well. Wow, fantastic.
yeah, so I developed this as a masterpiece of what I can actually contribute to people that who wants the best out of
Fantastic.
it, so that they can actually have a deeper
Wow.
kind of healing process. Yeah. And yeah, and of course, the people who wants to learn about it, I teach them how to do it themselves. And I even have taught people over the Zoom. My one of my further student is from US. I teach him how to do the therapy for his late dad, that he can actually do this to help him to go through the kind of a difficult time where the father was having a lot of water retention issue, and he actually felt grateful that he could do
Wow.
something for his late father. Yeah. So
So people can contact you. They can just look for you, Tricia T, on LinkedIn. Or
yes,
I think if I remember clearly, you have a web page.
yes, I do have the web page. Just look out for triple W just SeiFu.com. So that is
Okay,
where I
very
am.
easy.
Yep.
So you can consult people from a distance, which is amazing. Wow.
Yes. So it was very encouraging. It motivated me a lot when I actually can help people all over the world, especially this is a good effect of what COVID brought me, which is I can reach out to more people. Yeah.
It's interesting that you mentioned that. Yeah. No, I think yes, obviously COVID has been very negative for many reasons, but there are many silver linings, especially for us in the wellness industry. It has brought so much light and awareness towards well-being and wellness. So people are now a lot more interested in finding different ways of being healthy. And hence the reason we're speaking, because this is a fantastic therapy, and it's not that well known, but I'm sure after this that might change. But you are the proof of the results. So I mean, it's not a questionable matter. It does actually work, and like you said, using your hands very simply, you can do amazing healing techniques. So let me ask you a little bit, moving away from your therapy and everything that you're doing, which is commendable. Can you
Thank
do my
you.
taxes? No, I'm joking. I'm joking. um, how do you see wellness around you in Singapore, or moving around? Do you see it growing? Where do you see it going from your perspective?
Okay, so from my perspective, I can see that wellness is not no longer about physical wellness, also growing into mental, as I mean, especially during COVID situations. And I would say wellness in terms of emotion is also something that which is growing. So from my understanding, some ailments started, that is part of it is also because of emotion. Of course, maybe we exposed to many radiations and a lot of things, but part of it is also because of emotions. When we are not able to handle the emotions ourselves, and we are not letting out whatever is inside, so that is really something that it could actually trigger. And sometimes, like when you're not happy, we didn't let out, so that is actually create a lot of burden in our liver, that actually can create some ailment subsequently. So like my own late mother, he passed on as lymphoma, due to lymphoma, and he was actually very unhappy, and then he has a lot of anger, and every time how she deal with her anger was she just sleep. So that's
Hiding away.
is everything inside. She
Wow.
didn't actually talk out on what she was actually angry with. So a lot of things. I mean, I've emotion healing, and is one part that I'm very, very interested in, and I felt that this is something that a lot of people need to take care of.
I definitely think there's more of that post-COVID. A lot of people spent a lot of time alone, locked up in their small apartments. People were asking questions about themselves. So yes, I think there's definitely an emotional awakening, but yes, it can be quite negative and quite scary. That's a good point. Again, for us in the wellness industry, we try to make people healthy and happy, another opportunity, but people are complicated. People are complicated. Situations are complicated. People find themselves in different lifestyle, environmental situations that do lead to, depression or being emotionally unbalanced. So again, SeiFu can definitely help that as well. Wow.
Yes, definitely. Wow. Because like how SeiFu can help on emotion balancing, because when we do SeiFu, this can help on people who are depressed. So it can help on balancing our brainwave. So definitely SeiFu therapy is one of the way that it can help.
Okay, so let me ask you a final question. The big question after we've learned so much. If somebody was feeling emotionally unbalanced, not in a good place, feeling unhealthy, Dr. Tricia, what can I do? No, okay. Don't want to get you into trouble. What would you recommend? Maybe 2 or 3 points where people can just help them to feel better, to feel confident, to feel less emotionally unbalanced. What besides obviously coming to see you to do a session, what would you recommend?
Okay, so maybe I go through you about what was my experience when I also facing through the how do I go through the COVID situations. Yeah, I started to do meditations. I sit and I do meditation, and each time I do meditation, indeed, it's a time that I talk to myself, and I do have release. I even can cry, and then I talk to myself and understand myself better about what is happening within myself, and I ask myself, how am I going through this? And I mean, that is one part of things that I do. And also another way that I deal with it is also putting down the gratefulness codes. What am I grateful for today? Like writing down at the end of the day, what is the things that I'm most grateful about? Yeah, so that is one of the way that I deal with it. And one more thing is each morning I wake up and I look at the mirror and say, I love myself. So by loving myself, I won't allow myself to go into that dark circle, the dark hole that we never know that when we step into it until we step into it. Or sometimes when we are already inside, we didn't know. So by talking to ourselves about, yes, I am happy, I love myself, and I'm grateful for what is being offered and what the universe actually offering me. And the good things will come because of this is law of attractions. When we feel good, when we feel abundance, and the good things will really comes.
Correct. Exactly. Positivity breeds positivity or spreads positivity. Negativity spreads negativity.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. So again, we've already reached our 30 minutes. So thank you very much for the insight and the explication of this therapy and technique. I'm sure people would like to find out more. We've spoken, and we hope that in the future we can drag you away from Qatar and bring you to Vietnam, to Alba Wellness Valley. And hopefully we can do something here together in Vietnam and try and create more awareness and help people with this technique and anything we can do within the wellness industry. It's our responsibility to try and help people. And given the tools that we have and people like yourself, we can do that. We can help people, and we can make it a happy, healthy world. As we say, wellness for all, wellness by all. And, you know, it's our responsibility to keep everybody happy and healthy. So with that, we'd like to thank you very, very much for your time, for speaking to us today. We wish you the best of success with your time that you will be spending at with Shiva Sons or Zalu in the Qatar. Very exciting new project. You'll probably be one of the first international people going there to work with them. And then hopefully we can see you in Vietnam very soon as well.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just very, very excited that for that trip, and as well as I'm looking forward to your wellness spa and to fusion as fast as possible, so that I like many people to know about this therapy. That's how I can just spread the words about this therapy is such wonderful gift. And it's wonderful gift that I want to share with as many people as possible. And just remember, just with 2 hands, we have it. We do not need to actually use any equipment. We have it.
There we go. Exactly. Excellent. Yes. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you very much, Hatton, for your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Thank you. Namaste.